All right. It happened again. It happened again. Actually, it's kind of funny to me when it happens. I get some stupid comment. Gives me something to talk about. But this is, I'm going to keep knocking this one home, you know, on the younger generations. I don't want to pick on you. I don't want to pick on you because I know, all of us older people know that you don't know anything yet. You don't know anything. And when you hear something that an older person says, and your response is, whatever, boomer, you're not on the high ground there. You're actually revealing yourself as an ignorant moron. Especially with people my age, because I'm not a boomer, I'm a Gen Xer. So that's how much you don't know. You're just proving to the world you don't know what you're talking about. So, yeah. I mean, you're the generation that had Common Core math, right? Common Core math, when it first happened, I said it, that was about getting our youth to accept absurdity so that they would continue to believe anything else that they're told without question. That's what Common Core math was in my mind, right when it was happening. And I said that when it was happening. I think I've been proven right about that. I mean, you guys had helicopter parenting, you know, play dates. You know, my generation, we were free-range kids, man. Our parents were drinking and smoking and did not give a crap where we were. We were out and about. We were far more mature than you are. And you're not even going to reach the same level of maturity until you're in your 30s that we had by the time we graduated high school. That's it. All right? That is just how it is. You're not going to like hearing that, but it's the truth, you know? If your instant reaction to what I just said is you getting defensive, that's just, again, you revealing your immaturity. So, I mean, did you not see what happened with these hearings the other day with these these Ivy League? My God, that is some embarrassing shit. You got these women running these colleges, and they thought they were smart. They sound like complete morons. How they thought that their answers to these questions would be accepted by the masses just shows you how narcissistic and stupid they are. They think that they're smarter than everybody else. And I got to tell you something, all right? I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you right now. You're either smart or you ain't. All right? That's just how it is. College doesn't make anybody smarter. It doesn't. It'll reveal certain things about your personality, I suppose. But, you know, being book smart doesn't have a lot of weight in this world. It can help you. It can help you get a career and make some good money. But being able to make money and having a lot of it and being successful that way does not necessarily mean you're smart. It means you're smart about making money. That's for sure. But most of you don't ever learn to develop common sense. And you certainly, if your reaction automatically to somebody who's older saying something you don't like is to just lash out and be like, you're a boomer, what do you know? It's such a stupid way to think. They know way more than you do. You know how you learn? You live. What do you think you know? Hey, man, maybe you lived in a van for a year. Maybe you traveled a little bit, you know. Your parents had some money. You backpacked Europe, you know. You've seen parts of the world that a lot of other people haven't seen. You know, there's something to be said for that. You should learn to appreciate this country when you do that. But you still don't know anything. It's just, and I'm telling you, man, you're going to learn so much more in this life. You're going to get to a point where you realize, because when we were your age, we thought the same thing. This is nothing new, by the way. Everything I'm saying here is just, it's matter of fact. It's, what was it? You know, I think between the ages of like 17 and 22 or so, you really think you know a lot of shit. It's so funny to me to hear some young person who just learned something new. It's like the first time they learn some history or something. And they go out and they start talking about it. Like they'll have a YouTube channel or something, and they're like, oh man, this is something they just learned It blew their mind, and now they're sharing it as if they're some sort of wizard now that they know something. And the thing is half the stuff that you're repeating, because it's just you didn't know it until you learned it the day before. A lot of times that's not even so anyhow. You're actually just repeating garbage. It's like that Zinn character that rewrote all this American history and just lied. It's just so crazy. This whole false narrative that's been out there and accepted by academia as reality, and it's not. It's very interesting to me. There's this quote. I didn't invent it, but I repeat it from time to time. It's goes along the lines of, well, first of all, those who don't know their history are doomed to repeat it. But the other thing is, it's about an 80-year cycle where this takes place, where, hard times bring about tough people. Tough people bring about good times. Good times bring about soft people. Soft people bring about hard times. And that's where we're at, because a lot of you are just soft. A lot of you are just soft. This is just where we're at. You think that, you're evolved or something, and you think people who speak the way I do or think the way I do are archaic, and that somehow we're moving beyond that. That is not so. Humans have always been the same. We've never really evolved. The human condition, personalities, things we want, things we don't want, things we fight for, things we fight against, love, jealousy, want, need, power. All these things have always been there. They're never going away. Okay? Thousands of years ago, humans were exactly the same as they are now. There's no big difference here. I'm talking like the psychology of it, you know what I'm saying? We're taller in stature. I was watching something this morning about the Mayflower and how, a lot of you don't know this, but there was a time when nobody drank water. Even the children were drinking beer all day, beer and wine, because you couldn't trust the water. And in particular, you couldn't trust the water in Europe. Once they started kind of growing these cities and having all these, they polluted their surroundings. So that's not good. I see a drip. So that's what they did, man. And then when they came over here, they didn't realize that the water was actually safe to drink. So the first things they were doing was building stills and, creating ways to, have alcohol, because they didn't trust the water. But they learned. Anyhow, it's just funny to me. People my age goof on younger people. That's always happened. Younger people think old people don't have anything worthwhile to say. Doesn't matter. It doesn't fit into your world. We get it. The funny thing is that young people think we don't know this already. We did it. We lived through everything you're living through. We did everything you're doing. We thought everything you're thinking. You get to a point where you think you know everything when you're young, and then you get to a point where the older you get, you finally realize the longer you survive, the longer you live on this planet, the less you know. When you get to that point, that's when you're developing some sort of wisdom. All right? So, every time you mouth off, you just sound stupid. That's just how it is. And it's okay. It's okay, because all of us who mouthed off when we were young sounded stupid to older people, because they knew. Just trying to, just a friendly way of waking you up a little bit, making you realize you don't know what you're talking about most of the time, and a huge portion of what you think you know and what you believe is bullshit. Self-educate yourself. Question everything. Do your own research. Read things from different points of view. All right? Talk to an anthropologist. Way better than listening to an archaeologist. It's completely different. There's a guy, Robert Seffer. I've got a couple of his books. He's on YouTube now. When I started watching him, he had no subscribers. Now he's just banging. He's doing great. He's got some interesting stuff out there. I suggest that you look into that. But yeah, Gen Xers are not boomers. Boomers created a lot of the problem. I mean, you could look at problems caused by every generation. We know what the boomers did, what they did to the college system and everything else. And then my generation, the Gen Xers, they're the ones responsible for the helicopter parenting and the over infantizing of young people. Because we lived such a crazy lifestyle when we were young, and the things we were doing, it was crazy. It was crazy, the things that we were doing as young people. We were living like adult lives. And I guess my friends didn't want their kids to have the same issues. And we went through a lot of stuff. We had a lot of adult stuff happen to us when we were young that this young generation now has never experienced and have to live through. And the parents of them, my friends included, thought they were doing the right thing. And I tell them all the time they did the wrong thing because they're stunted. Younger people today, I think I said it earlier in the video, we had a maturity level by the time we graduated high school that it's going to take this younger generation, they're going to be in their 30s before they reach that same maturity level. That's where we're at. We've over-infantized our younger generations. It was a total mistake to do that, in my opinion. What do I know? I'm just a Gen Xer. I'm not a boomer. This has been a public service announcement.